Force on a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. Consider a straight conductor of length L, area of cross section A, and carrying current I is placed in an external magnetic field B. Let theta be the angle between L and B, and let n be the number of electrons per unit volume. We know from Lorentz magnetic force F equals QVB sin theta, where Q is the charge which is flowing with velocity V in an external magnetic field B by making an angle theta with respect to external magnetic field. But here, since current is flow of electrons due to the external electric field, as we studied in last chapter, we are making two changes according to this situation. V replaced by drift velocity since electrons are flowing due to electric field, and Q replaced by minus E since electrons are flowing in current. So here the force on each electron which is moving with velocity Vd in external magnetic field is minus E Vd B sin theta. The total number of free electrons in a conductor having volume Al is number of electrons per unit volume into total volume of conductor. That is N into Al. So, total force on all the electrons in the conductor is force on each electron into number of electrons in the conductor. But force on each electron is minus E Vd B sin theta, and total number of electron is N into Al. So this is the total force on all electrons. After the rearrangement, the expression becomes minus N A E V D L B sin theta. This is the total force experienced by all the electron inside the conductor. But since the electrons are inside the conductor, this force on all electrons can be experienced by the conductor itself. So this is also the total force experienced by the conductor. But NAEVD, this is electric current which we studied in chapter 3. So the expression of force becomes ILB sin theta. In vector form, this force is vector F equals I into vector L cross vector B. Since F equals I into L cross B, the direction of force is perpendicular to both L and B. If the current carrying conductor is not perpendicular to the magnetic field, then we can use right hand thumb rule such that if the curved fingers are directing from L to B, then the extended thumb gives direction of force. If the current carrying conductor is placed perpendicular to the external magnetic field, then to find the direction of force, we can use Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule states that stretch thumb, forefinger, and center finger of the left hand mutually perpendicular to each other. If the forefinger points in the direction of external magnetic field, center finger in the direction of current, then the thumb gives direction of force on the current carrying conductor. Now we can discuss special cases. When the conductor is parallel or anti-parallel to the external magnetic field, theta will be either 0 or 180. So expression of force becomes I L B sine 0 or sine 180, which is 0. Thus, a current carrying conductor placed parallel or anti-parallel to the direction of magnetic field does not experience any force. The second case is when the conductor is perpendicular to the external magnetic field, means theta equals 90 degree. Now force F equals ILB sine 90. Since sine 90 is 1, force is ILB. For a particular current carrying conductor, the current through it means I is constant. Its length L is also constant. If this current carrying conductor is placed in constant field, B is also constant. Means we can tell force depends in particular situation sin theta. Means if sin theta is maximum, force is also maximum. Here in this case, sin 90 means 1, which is the maximum value of the sine function. So here force is maximum, which is ILB. Thus, a current carrying conductor placed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field experiences maximum force. Force between two parallel current carrying straight conductors. Consider two current carrying conductors which are separated by distance r and carrying currents I1 and I2 respectively. Use right hand thumb rule for the first wire. This is the direction of magnetic field around it. So, magnetic field produced due to I1 on I2 is into the plane, and it is B1 equals mu 0 I1 divided by 2 pi r into minus k cap. So, force on CD is F2 equals I2 into L cross B1. Now, substitute the expression of B1. Then force is I2 into Lj cap, since it is along the y-axis, cross mu 0 I1 divided by 2 pi r into minus k cap. Take the magnitudes outside. So the expression becomes mu 0 I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r into j cross minus k. Since j cross minus k is minus into j cross k, which is minus I cap. So F2 equals mu 0 I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r into minus I cap. Since the unit vector of F2 is minus I cap, F2 adds along minus x direction. Now we can consider the next current carrying conductor. Use the right hand thumb rule for second wire. This is the direction of magnetic field around it. So the magnetic field produced due to I2 on I1 is out of the plane, and it is B2 equals mu 0 I2 divided by 2 pi r k cap. So force on AB is F1 equals I1 into L cross B2. Substitute the expression of B2. Then force is I1 into L j cap cross mu 0 I2 divided by 2 pi r into k cap. Take the magnitudes outside. So the expression of the force becomes mu 0 I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r into j cross k. Since j cross k is I, F1 equals mu 0 I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r into I cap. Since the unit vector of F1 is I cap, F1 adds along plus x direction. F2 is the total force acting on entire length of second conductor. So force acting per unit length of second conductor is force acting on entire length divided by entire length. So force acting per unit length is equals mu 0 I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r divided by L. So force experienced by unit length of second conductor is mu 0 I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r. Similarly, the force acting on entire length of first conductor is mu 0 I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r. So force experienced by unit length of the first conductor is mu 0 I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r divided by L equals mu 0 I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r. So from above two expressions, it is clear that the magnitude of force experienced by the unit length of conductor is equal, which is mu 0 I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r. Now based on this formula, we can define 1 ampere. F1 equals F2 equals mu 0 I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r. If the current I1 I2 both are 1 ampere, distance between them r equals 1 meter, then force is mu 0 by 2 pi, but mu 0 is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. So forces per unit length is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7 divided by 2 pi, which equals 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton meter. So 1 ampere is that much current which flow through each of the two parallel uniform long straight conductors placed in free space at a distance of 1 meter from each other would produce a force of 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton meter on each other. So as we discussed before, if the current flows in the same direction, the force experienced between them is attractive. F2 is towards minus x direction and F1 is towards plus x direction. So it is attractive in nature. Similarly, if the current flows in opposite direction, then F1 will be in minus x direction and F2 will be in plus x direction. This you can try as like this. So if the current flows in opposite directions, the force experienced is repulsive. This is the direction of magnetic field lines around two current carrying conductors if the currents are flowing in the same direction.